People are going to disagree with you no matter what you do. This may be a tough pill to swallow for some, but you have to come to terms with the fact that no matter what you do or don't do in this world, or what you do or don't share on social media, there will always be people who dislike you and or disagree with you. Even those who pride themselves in being masters of people pleasing have a number of non-supporters they're either discrediting or are genuinely unaware of. Let's stop there for a minute. What exactly is people pleasing, and why do we all, yes, I said all, do it to some extent? According to the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, a people pleaser is often described as a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of their own needs or desires. At some level, it does sound considerate. I mean, you want to make sure that other people are happy, so why not sacrifice a little bit of your short-term happiness in order to help guarantee it? If it stopped there and only happened every now and then, it likely wouldn't be much of an issue. But it doesn't stop there. Most of us, likely you included, given that you decided to click on this video, tend to let our people-pleasing get out of hand. For example, you already struggle to find and make time for yourself to work on that passion project or to further develop that skill that you're interested in. This week, you finally have a window to work on it. But when your friend calls you, just as that window begins, to rant about their latest work gossip, you elect to people please and give them that attentive ear yet again. The end result, your friend is pleased because you were there for them as they had hoped, but your wants and needs are cast aside. Whether or not this particular example resonated with you, you likely get the gist of what people pleasing is. So why exactly do we do it? One big reason is to avoid conflict. We don't agree with the way our family has been doing something for years. We have a very practical suggestion, but we don't want to deal with the drama that would likely arise as a result of bringing it up. So we people please. A second, and to me the biggest reason why we do it, is because at some level, likely a lot deeper than we're willing to admit, we need others to like us. And what better a way to do that than pleasing other people? But isn't it strange that in order to satisfy this need, we're willing to not be true to ourselves? So yes, we gain the like we seek, but as some at least mildly fabricated version of ourselves. And the more that we do this, the more our true self fades into the distance because it's not receiving the same false dopamine hits to encourage its continued existence. Why I said earlier that we all people please to some extent is that even if you're someone who is not afraid of conflict, or you don't really care what other people think about you, you likely still exhibit a number of behaviors that suggest you do. Two of the most common small-ish behaviors are an inability to say no and the unnecessary apology. So how do we stop people pleasing? By coming to terms with the fact that even as a full-time people pleaser, there are still going to be people who simply don't like you. Knowing this, set yourself free from the wishful thought that a world of 100% undying support is possible, and instead focus on being yourself and being grateful for whatever support you do receive in being that person. Trust me, I know this is easier said than done, as someone creating content that barely anyone watches, likely including this video. Also take notice of the fact that I'm saying being yourself, rather than amending for all the years of people-pleasing that you've likely done by becoming a self-focused boundary machine. There will still be times where you will be genuinely compelled to please others. We just want to avoid making it an unconscious habit again. To help come to terms with the reality that some people will always dislike you, take a moment to think about what a world filled with undying love and support would actually look like. It may sound appealing on the surface, but it would lose its charm rather quickly. Plus, criticism is a fundamental part of the human experience. And while the world would be a far better place without acts of hatred, we would not benefit from a reality where absolutely everyone held the same stance on everything. Conflicting opinions are not only at the root of most of humanity's greatest advances, but they're also at the core of most of our personal biggest life lessons to date. If you find yourself particularly sensitive to the opinions held by a select few, rather than the general public, you are not alone. Common holders of these prestigious roles include parents, friends, co-workers, and those we idolize either openly or subconsciously. Despite the closer ties, these conflicts of opinion are ultimately just like any other. And while it may seem like biting your tongue may be keeping the peace, it's likely only creating an even bigger problem below the surface. A problem that will either eventually explode or one that creates an unhealthy level of resentment towards the opinion holder, forcing you to overvalue their stance and hold you back from the life that you wish you were living. So rather than shutting yourself down out of a fear of what others might say, do, or think, Get excited about what might come from you alternatively deciding to express yourself. Realize that pretty well everyone you admire once, if not many times, has taken a leap into the unknown. And once they got there, they had to keep going through plenty of criticism, differing opinions, and personal doubts, all set on selling them on the idea that quitting would be more optimal. Because in a world of over 7.5 billion people, there are already too many of us that allow our lives to be dictated by the opinions of just one or two. If this video at least has you thinking about making some healthy changes in life, but you're concerned about how that may look, be sure to check out this other video I recently made, which is all about how to stop fearing change. And be sure to also download my free ebook on 5 quick daily hacks for a genuinely happier life via the link in the description.